Something broke the boss, I flipped the script. Super Trucker Podcast got me fully equipped. Left the noise behind, now I'm stacking green. Voyager Nation made me live the dream.
Tracking safety theater, the current climate, current emotions, current news cycles. What's up with that?
So that's what we're going to actually dive into, because safety is preached and not practiced. And so what we mean actually by that, it's like this DOT loves the press release more than the actual process. And you see it time and time again, especially in this landscape of what's hitting the news, than actual owner operators, company drivers understanding the process of what just really happened and how it affects safety and the public.
Yes, and unfortunately, for the most part, what I'm seeing and what has been like the hardest thing to really enforce is that in many cases that would bury a carrier 6 foot under. The driver walks away with a have a nice day or just a tap on the back sometimes. We all seen those videos online right now that, talks about driver English proficiency test, right?
Yeah.
And it's all like fun and games until you really start paying attention to what's actually going on there, what the message is being communicated, what consequences who gets. And it's, for the most part, at least in my experience, based on my driving experience, safety management experience, like well-rounded trucker experience, if I'm not lying to myself, the message a lot of times is lost in translation. So obviously some people are celebrating, other people are being overly emotional. But at the end of the day, when you're looking for consistency, to actually make a dent, to actually make a point in safety,
right?
The message is lost.
Well, I think one of the major reasons, let's talk about why this is lost. It's because I think the enforcement varies widely from state to state.
Yes.
So it's almost like who's really getting punished, because at the end of the day, we have plenty of examples. Like, we're in trucking, man. We live this bad boy day to day. Probably off the top of my head, let's say a guy with an overweight ticket, not as severe as other things, although problematic, can drive through 3 states, no problem. Have a nice day. And then get caught on the 4th state and get popped for an overweight.
Yes, a little bit of that I can sort of defend, because obviously every state is different. Every state has different legalities. Every state even has different geography.
But yes, but again, to me, that's the enforcement, because as it's not all one page, it's only based on the experience of that one individual. So now he doesn't understand why the ticket, because he's like, I was fine, man. This is personal now.
Yes, and unfortunately, I think the failure point is in the inconsistency, even though sometimes you can back the inconsistency up a little bit, especially, let's say, of overweight. That's just not a good example in general, because different types of equipment, different, let's say, 2 trucks, right? 80,000 pounds, you can be statewide, like based on state limits, totally legal, and still have overweight, because if there is some special tire manufacturer that decided that their tire is only good up to certain weight, boom, you're in violation. If you over that weight. So plus the geography, everything else makes it a little bit more different. But for example, the rules that are identical are still not being enforced the same way. For example, we all talk smack about California. We love that, California, we call it, right?
There you go.
So we love talk smack about it, and it's fun. By the way, one of the nicest freaking states in the places in the world, I would say, generally speaking, outside of political fun. However, that's the only state that, at least based on my knowledge, is very, very effective when it comes down to hours of service enforcement, because right there, that's the only state that I agree with on enforcement of hours of service. Because, for example, there are states that if the driver is in some really, really nasty violations, that, let's say, if found after some horrible accident, would land the guy in the jail for life. But let's say nothing happens, right? It's just hours of service violations, so nobody died. Now, all of a sudden, like, most states would not even give a driver a ticket.
Okay, but California will.
But the California will, and the California's ticket is nothing to laugh at, man. We talking like thousands.
Yeah, and I think you get, if I'm not mistaken, it's like per day.
And look, well, usually we don't exaggerate it, but on the paper, if we wanted, if we applied the same standard as DOT applies to the carrier doing the audit, that would be it. And you know what? Another fun thing, even though that's a little bit like weaning off a topic, man. Like, you know those drivers that's been in the game as long as we have.
Yeah.
And we always confused about hours of service when it's convenient.
Yeah, for sure.
So one funny thing that they've seen, I never, obviously, right now we just don't go to California because we don't need us. However, in many cases, I forgot what I was gonna say. We don't go to California. The fucking ticket. Oh, fucking! How do I fucking come back to this? So, fuck. Hold on. Just fucking don't say nothing. Oh, okay, got it. Same drivers that have those questions about hours of service.
Yeah, sorry.
The same drivers that have those hours of service questions that is not totally clear to them. I've noticed, at least back when we used to go to California or when I worked with carriers that do that, we were never confused in the state of California.
They knew exactly what to do.
So a lot of that is also, I would say, just like selective enforcement on the side of a government.
Yeah.
It's also selective action on side of everybody. So, for example, if a carrier know that we can get away with something, we're probably going to try to bend the rules. If a driver knows that he can get away with, let's say, breaking every hours of service rule in the book, he's gonna break it. But the problem is with inconsistent application of the same rule, carrier versus the driver. So, for example, in California now we are on a plain ground because the driver has a lot to lose in that situation, and we as a carrier, we always have to lose in that situation, a lot. So now, let's say that same driver I don't want to just provide bad information because I don't have a current info in my hands, but any state, let's just say Georgia, most likely, I never seen any fines for hours of service violations.
No,
I guess not on the top of my head, but so now, see how that's different? If we trying to solve a big hours of service issue and coach the driver properly to do it legally, now it's so much easier for us to coach the driver that is actually going to California to have that conversation and reach some sort of solution, then do the same thing with the same driver if we, let's say, only run Georgia, Florida.
Well, the problem, I think one of the biggest problems is the following, right? So the authoritative figure in all of this is DOT and its officers that dish out, make sure that we're in compliance, right? And then we have to be compliant. So if there's that, and I get it, in every industry, man, there is that margin of error that things are going to happen, right? Because we're in the people business at the end of the day. But if there's inconsistency in following these rules from state to state, what happens is the experience of the guys getting pulled over into their scale houses, right? Chances are what you're talking about, we might see nothing in Georgia because of a lot of our guys don't run that Georgia, let's say, or whatever the case may be. It just depends on where your trucks are rolling around. then to that driver, that experience is everything to him, and then he thinks that's real, and he thinks because he was let go with the warning and that, then we have nothing to worry about.
Yes.
And then anything else after that is us amplifying a situation, being dramatic, but because he's never been part of the process on the other side of the fence, so he has no idea on what's about to happen on the inside.
And if you add on top of that, because again, I don't know what's exactly the reason for it. Probably just a human thing. You know, like let's say for example, if you're a cop, if you're a DOT officer, and now you have to, you got yourself a guy that's violated a certain rule, right? You cannot just ignore it. You still have to document it, right? So which one would be easier for you? To bitch to him like you're his mom and hand him a ticket or a warning? Or just hand an individual a warning and say, it's okay, man, just go sleep for 10 hours and you're good to go.
Right, and I think this is where we fall apart, right? Because how many of these guys, for sure, he's there for, for his 10 hours before he starts pulling away.
I hope all of them, but I know it's not the case, yes.
And then that is that. And then, so in that guy's experience, nobody came after him. There's no pursuit. There's none of that. So,
so nobody got shot.
In his mind, none of that shit is real because in his mind, it never happened. There's no such thing.
Yes.
So that's what I think.
So I think, like from the safety aspect, like from a safety management aspect, I find this, at least to me personally, being a biggest challenge when I have to talk to the driver about the same problem that we experience as a carrier from a totally different angle than the individual. Because for that individual, let's just say outside the PSP, and unfortunately there are a lot of carriers that don't give a flying F about the PSP. We never check it. And the DOT officer's approach to the problem when the driver is being placed out of service, shaping everything up, and now this driver, he doesn't even understand. Like, to him, if I didn't get shot on a scale, I didn't get a ticket that actually affects me right now, and the officer is just telling me, it's okay, just go sleep for 10 hours and you're free to go. And now for a carrier, that same interaction, that carrier did not create, like, we were not involved, we didn't tell this driver to go. As a matter of fact, we just had a conversation before this video about all the years of experience in this industry. And I can for sure tell you that I never seen a carrier that told the driver to run illegally and suggest to do that. However, I've seen a lot of carriers. I remember I was working for a carrier that had a driver that decided to go empty from Texas to Michigan. Just a dumb idea for like his oil change or something. That was a dumb idea, like because he wanted to do it with his special mechanic, and that makes no sense. But like, again, we are in people business, so he decided that he's just gonna run straight from Texas to Michigan, and somehow, because he's not loaded or whatnot, that he's gonna just log it as off duty. Back then it was still paper logs, and he got pulled over on a scale, and he was placed out of service. And I specifically know that there was a pretty significant drama between this driver and the dispatch, where dispatch was telling him, don't go empty, let us get you a load, let us, even if you need to go to that mechanic right now and there is no direct load from where you at directly to that town where you're going to, just give us options to get you something on the way, because it's still gonna be a hell of a lot better than nothing, because now you're pulling empty. And and that was part of a conversation, and obviously the idea was always that you run legally no matter what. So let's say if you're late for an appointment and you are out of hours, the only correct answer is safely park and go to sleep.
Right, so the carrier is pushing the...
And that was always a message at that specific area. And when the driver got put out of service, because I was working at the safety department and I saw the actual inspection report. It was saying something along the lines, carrier knowingly about that this is gonna put driver over hours, told the driver to go. Still, like not follow hours of service. And to me, man, like, especially if you're already going empty, right? You're already like not making money regardless you run hard or not hard.
Right.
You're already in the negative balance. So it would be just totally dumb impossible for any carrier to suggest the driver to run illegally, even if that was a thing.
Yeah, I mean...
And that was one of the ugliest things that I've seen in this long time in trucking, where the driver fought the carrier not to load him. The driver, actually owner operator, decided what he's going to do and what he's not going to do. The carrier, and that carrier was not messing around. We were serious about hours of service.
Right.
So would never suggest that. One of the main rules in the company, at the orientation or anywhere, if you run out of hours, stop.
There you go. Everybody has to be preaching the same song across the board, man.
And then the driver still, once he got caught, he decided that somehow it's going to sound better if he's going to tell them that the carrier told him to do it.
Right, yeah.
And then the DOT officer, which, like, not very experienced DOT officer, I guess, because, like, you have to come up with shit like this. Like, you got to think for a minute or two. Decided to put it all in writing on that inspection report. All this driver's nonsense. And unfortunately, again, 25 years in business, I've seen those scenarios. I never once saw a scenario telling the driver, man, I don't care, just go. I haven't even seen the scenario where, like, for example, right here, we even coach the dispatchers that if a driver is late for hours of service, he's not gonna make it. Go and reschedule, because safety first. If driver doesn't know how to act or how to properly prep his hours of service, he needs to call safety, and we're going to do all the training necessary. But the rule number one, and the only main rule, is if you're out of hours, you're parking.
There we go.
Operators looking for the best business owner opportunity, look no further. I got all the programs that are going to make you successful. Everything to operating from 2 different fuel cards, top of the line trailers with a maintenance program that is unbeatable, to plates, insurance, you name it, we got it. All you got to do is give us a call, 863-342-5171. Learn more and get started.